opportunity to respond directly to the allegations in the Atlantic article that your unexplained absences created a national security risk. And beyond that, can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me. What that means is I've taken a third less vacation than those before me. What that means is that this FBI, with this Department of Justice, has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI, with this Department of Justice, has captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, twice as many as the Biden administration did in its entire 4 years. I'm on the job. I'm the first one in. I'm the last one out. I'm like an everyday American who loves his country, loves the sport of hockey, and champions my friends when they raise a gold medal and invite me in to celebrate. I've never been intoxicated on the job.
Hey everyone, Jack here, and we're back at his Senate confirmation hearing. Kash Patel imploded under questioning about his grand jury testimony in Trump's classified documents case, deflecting, freezing, and hiding behind non-existent legalities. The devastating performance, compounded by a leaked recording allegedly showing him plotting with Trump, turned what should have been a formality into one of the most humiliating weeks for any administration official. He refuses to answer, claims the testimony is sealed, claims there are legal restrictions preventing him from discussing what he said under oath. He dodges, weaves, deflects. The more Booker pushes, the more Patel retreats. But here's the killer detail that changes everything. There was no seal, no court order, no legal protection whatsoever.
And that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on. I'll see you in court.
Explain the computer login issue. Just explain the computer login issue. You were not able to log into your lawsuit contends that you were not able to log into the system. What did you think after you were unable to log into the system?
Let's have a survey. How many of you people believe that's true? Hang on.
Did you communicate
You
with
asked the question. Let me answer it.
No, let me
No.
Did you communicate with anyone that you thought you were fired after you were unable to log into
The problem with you and your report, don't cut me off. You asked the question.
Straightforward question.
The problem with you and your baseless reporting is that is an absolute lie. It was never said. It never happened. And I will serve in this administration as long as the president and the attorney general want me to do so. And every time you guys report false lies, every time you guys raise baseless questions, when we are here to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center's $3 million decade-long scheme to fraudulently fleece Americans, you are off topic.
It's a simple, straightforward question. Did you talk to anybody about whether you thought you were fired?
The simple answer to your question is...
The judge confirmed it. Patel was lying about the secrecy. He was making up excuses on the spot to avoid telling the truth about what he told that grand jury. Now think about the implications here. If Patel testified one way to the grand jury and says something different publicly or under oath to the Senate, that is perjury. That is a federal crime carrying serious prison time. And if he is lying to cover for Trump, if he is protecting the president by hiding damaging testimony, that is obstruction. That is potentially the kind of criminal conduct that could bring down not just Patel, but everyone around him. This is not speculation. This is the documented record of what happened in that hearing room. But wait, it gets worse. Because right in the middle of this confirmation disaster, a recording surfaces.
You are lying, and every time you do so, I've answered your question. It's simply as follows. I was never locked out of my systems. Anybody who says
your lawsuit says the opposite. Your lawsuit contends.
Anyone that says the opposite is lying.
Man, stop. You're being extraordinarily rude. And I know maybe that's part of your profession, but please just stop. If you ask a question, he can answer it. And then, wait, now you're interrupting me. Like, just a little bit of respect, man. Just a tiny little bit. Try it sometime. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, The SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups.
Leaked audio that has Washington absolutely losing its collective mind. The tape allegedly captures Patel and Trump discussing how to handle FBI investigations, how to pressure agents, how to ensure loyalty, how to make sure certain people get pushed out while others are protected. Now, we have not heard the full recording yet. It is being analyzed, verified. But the clips that have been circulating are absolutely devastating. They suggest that Trump was not just defending himself against what he saw as unfair investigations. He was actively trying to manipulate those investigations through his loyalist at the FBI. This is a game changer in the most literal sense. For years, Trump has been saying the FBI is corrupt, weaponized against him.
Numerous rings across this country to neutralize that terrorist threat, including in places like New York City, Los Angeles, and I believe Dallas, Texas most recently.
How extensively did criminal cartels like Sinaloa, Jalisco, New Generation, MS-13, Trinidad, and others infiltrate our country during the Biden administration?
By the tens of thousands.
Well, and what progress have you been making in combating their presence?
I think the DHS is best to speak to that, but I think I can't remember the numbers of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of individuals they found that came in illegally, and the tens of thousands that associations to criminal networks have all been deported.
And that effort is being opposed every step of the way by Democratic leaders in our cities, some of our states, and right here in the Congress. Isn't that true?
Well, we're just working where we can in every single city we can, and I welcome the opportunity to partner with Republicans or Democrats on fighting violent crime like we're doing.
Mr. Biggs asked about Arctic frost. What else can you tell us about that and what we need to do to assure that it never happens again?
Continue the congressional oversight work that you're doing on Arctic frost. Let me provide you with more documentation on Arctic frost and also call in witnesses.
Filled with enemies who need to be purged. And maybe you agree with some of that criticism. Maybe you think the Bureau has been unfair to conservatives, but this recording, if authentic, takes things to an entirely different level. This is not about cleaning up corruption. This is allegedly about the president and his closest ally scheming to interfere with active federal investigations. That is not reform. That is obstruction. That is potentially criminal behavior caught on tape with Trump's own voice discussing strategy with the man he wants to put in charge of federal law enforcement. And the timing could not possibly be worse. This is happening just as Senate Republicans are trying to rally support for Patel's confirmation. They need a loyal FBI director. They need someone Trump trusts. But now Democrats are demanding the full grand jury transcript be released.
From the paperwork that we have given you. You have that right, and the American public deserves to hear what those people have to say. As for my ongoing investigation, there's not much I can say.
What role did the FBI play in suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story during the 2024 election?
Off the top of my memory, sir, I believe the FBI was in possession of verified information from that laptop, and it was improperly publicized that they did not have information and masked it as Russian disinformation. We now know that was categorically false. I don't know why the FBI did that, when they did that, but we've released all the materials related to that.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized. Mr. Goldman.
Mr. Patel, does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's not a complicated question. Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I didn't say it was a complicated question. I just didn't hear you, so my apologies. We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
All right, so let's go through that. You're referring to court orders that prohibit you from releasing grand jury testimony under Rule 6E.
They are calling for investigations into the leaked recording. They are saying Patel perjured himself. They are saying this whole thing stinks of a cover-up. Meanwhile, just days before this hearing, Patel fired 2 senior FBI agents, 2 guys who worked on Jack Smith's investigation into Trump. Just fired them. Claimed he had the authority under the Constitution. And yeah, technically maybe he does. But the optics, the timing, the targeting, it all looks like a purge. It looks like revenge. It looks like Trump using his FBI director to go after the people who investigated him. These were not random firings. These were targeted, deliberate. Everyone in Washington knows exactly what message this sends to anyone else thinking about investigating Trump or his associates. If you go after the president, if you do your job and follow the evidence where it leads, your career is over. It does not matter if you were just following the law. It does not matter if you believed in the integrity of your work. If you cross Trump, you are gone. And that knowledge will change how federal agents do their jobs. It will change whether investigations are pursued. It will change the fundamental character of federal law enforcement in America. So here we are. Kash Patel's confirmation hanging by a thread, leaked audio threatening to blow up Trump's entire defense, a Senate divided right down partisan lines, and the American public watching all of this unfold in real time, wondering what the hell is happening in Washington. This is not just about one confirmation hearing. This is about the integrity of federal law enforcement. This is about whether Trump can install loyalists who will protect him instead of upholding the law. This is about what kind of FBI we are going to have for the next several years. This is about whether anyone can hold powerful people accountable when they break the rules. The tension in Washington is palpable. You can feel it in the hallways of the Capitol. You can see it in the faces of senators as they walk to their offices. Everyone knows this is a defining moment, a test of whether the Senate will stand up to presidential power, a test of whether the FBI can remain independent, a test of whether anyone can hold the president accountable. And trust me, what happened in that Senate hearing room was just the beginning. The real fireworks are still coming. And when they do, this whole situation could explode in ways nobody is prepared for. Let me tell you who Kash Patel actually is, because understanding his background makes this whole story even more alarming. This is not some random political appointee. This is a guy who has been in Trump's orbit for years. He worked on the House Intelligence Committee. He was a senior official in the Defense Department. He has been one of Trump's most loyal defenders through absolutely everything. The Russia investigation, the impeachment trials, the classified documents case, all of it. Trump trusts this guy completely. And that is exactly why Democrats are freaking out. When you are picking someone to run the FBI, you are supposed to pick someone independent, someone who will follow the law no matter where it leads, someone who will not play politics with investigations. But Kash Patel has made it crystal clear over the years that his loyalty is to Trump first and foremost. He has gone on television and talked about going after Trump's enemies. He has written about cleaning house at the FBI. He has basically told everyone exactly what he plans to do. And now Trump wants to give him the keys to the kingdom. This is not speculation. This is not reading between the lines. Patel has been explicit about his intentions, and that is what makes his nomination so controversial and so dangerous to people who believe in an independent FBI. The hearing was never going to be smooth. Democrats were ready. They had their questions lined up. They knew about his grand jury testimony. They knew there were contradictions between what he had said publicly and what he might have said under oath. And they were ready to pounce. Senator Booker led the charge, and he was absolutely not messing around. He started asking about the grand jury testimony. Simple questions, direct questions. Did you tell the grand jury that you witnessed Trump declassify documents? Did you see it happen? What exactly did you testify to? And Patel just would not answer. He would say things like, "I cannot discuss sealed grand jury testimony." He claimed there were legal restrictions. He said he needed to protect the integrity of the process. But there was no seal. The presiding judge confirmed it. There was no court order preventing Patel from talking. He was just hiding, deflecting, refusing to be transparent about what he told investigators under oath. Now, why does this matter? Because if Patel testified one way to the grand jury and then says something different publicly or under oath to the Senate, that is perjury. That is a crime. And if he is covering for Trump, if he lied to protect the president, that is even worse. That is obstruction. That is exactly the kind of thing that could bring down not just Patel, but everyone around him. The stakes here are enormous, and Patel's refusal to answer straightforward questions makes it look like he has got something massive to hide. Now let me take you deeper into what actually happened here, because the headlines are wild, but the details are even crazier. Once you understand what is really going on, you will see why this is such a massive deal. The leaked recording is absolutely central to understanding the gravity of this situation. This audio allegedly was obtained by investigators. Nobody knows exactly how it leaked. Maybe someone in law enforcement, maybe someone with access to the files, but it is out there now. It is circulating, and according to people who have heard it, it is really bad. The recording allegedly captures Patel and Trump discussing how to handle the FBI, how to make sure certain investigations do not go too far, how to pressure agents to back off, how to install loyalists who play ball. Now, again, we have not heard the full tape. We are getting secondhand reports. We are getting clips. But if even half of what is being described is accurate, this is a political bombshell of the highest order. Because what this suggests is that Trump was not just defending himself against what he saw as unfair investigations. He was actively trying to manipulate those investigations. He was working with Patel to interfere with federal law enforcement. And if that is true, if that can be proven, we are talking about serious legal jeopardy. We are talking about potential charges. We are talking about impeachment territory. Now look, I know Trump supporters are going to say, this is just more of the same. More attempts to take down Trump. More leaks designed to hurt him politically. And yeah, maybe there is some truth to that. Maybe the timing of this leak is suspicious. Maybe someone is playing politics with it. But the content of the tape, if it is real, is not something you can just wave away. That is evidence of potential crimes. That is the president's voice allegedly discussing how to corrupt federal law enforcement. That is not a small thing. That is the kind of thing that has brought down presidents before. Meanwhile, let us talk about those fired FBI agents, because this adds a whole other layer to the story. Days before the Senate hearing, Patel fires 2 senior agents. These guys worked on Jack Smith's investigation. They were part of the team looking into Trump's handling of classified documents. They were involved in the Mar-a-Lago search. They were key players in the whole thing. And Patel just fires them, claims he has the authority, claims it is about accountability, claims the FBI needs to be cleaned up. But come on, the timing is just too convenient. Right before his confirmation hearing. Right as questions about his loyalty and independence are swirling. It looks like retaliation. It looks like a purge. It looks like Trump using his FBI director to go after the people who investigated him. Republicans in the Senate tried to defend this. They said Patel was well within his rights. They said those agents were part of a corrupt system. They said Trump deserves to have people he trusts in key positions. And okay, fine. There is a constitutional argument there. The president does have broad authority over executive branch appointments. But there is a difference between appointing people you trust and appointing people who cover up your crimes. And that is what Democrats are arguing. They are saying this is not about trust or loyalty. This is about Trump building a protection racket. This is about installing someone at the FBI who will make his legal problems go away. This is about corrupting law enforcement for personal benefit. The pattern is clear, and it is disturbing to anyone who values an independent justice system. The hearing ended with no resolution. Republicans stuck by Patel. Democrats demanded more transparency. The leaked audio just kept getting more attention. Social media exploded. Cable news covered it nonstop. Political analysts started gaming out what happens if Patel does not get confirmed, or worse, if he does. Because here is the scary part. If Patel gets confirmed, if he becomes FBI director despite all this, what does that say? What does that mean for the rule of law? What does it mean when the person running federal law enforcement is someone who allegedly helped the president interfere with investigations? And if he does not get confirmed, if this blows up his nomination, what does Trump do next? Does he pick someone even more loyal? Does he leave the position vacant and just run the FBI through acting directors? Does he double down on the purge and fire more people? This is a no-win situation for everyone. For Trump, it is another scandal at the worst possible time. For Patel, it is a confirmation process that has turned into a public disaster. For the FBI, it is more chaos and more questions about independence. And for the American people, it is more evidence that Washington is completely broken. Let me tell you something else that is wild about this whole situation. The Republican senators, the ones who are supposed to be grilling Patel, a lot of them are just going soft. They are asking softball questions. They are giving him easy outs. They are letting him dodge and weave without pushing back. Why? Because they know what is at stake. They know that if they go too hard on Patel, if they blow up his nomination, Trump is going to come after them. He is going to primary them. He is going to make their lives miserable. So they are stuck. They know Patel is compromised. They know he is loyal to Trump above everything else. But they cannot say that out loud. They cannot vote against him because Trump's base, Trump's voters, they love Kash Patel. They see him as a fighter. They see him as someone who will finally clean up the FBI. And if Republican senators vote against him, those voters will turn on them in a heartbeat. Democrats, on the other hand, they are going all in. They are using every minute of their questioning time to hammer Patel. They are bringing up the grand jury testimony. They are asking about the leaked audio. They are demanding answers about the fired agents. They are making it very clear this nomination is a test. And if Republicans vote to confirm Patel despite everything, Democrats are going to use that against them forever. They are going to say Republicans chose loyalty over law. They are going to say the party is completely captured by Trump. They are going to make it an issue in every election for years to come. So, yeah, this is wild. This is way bigger than just one confirmation hearing. This is about the future of law enforcement under Trump's second term. This is about whether anyone can hold the president accountable. This is about whether loyalty matters more than the law. And we are just getting started. The grand jury testimony is the key to understanding why Patel's evasion matters so much. Grand jury testimony is under oath. You cannot just say whatever you want. You have to tell the truth. And if you lie, that is perjury. That is a federal crime. That is years in prison if you get convicted. So what did Patel say? That is what everyone wants to know. Did he tell the grand jury that he witnessed Trump declassified documents? Did he say Trump followed proper procedures? Or did he admit that Trump just took stuff without going through any official process? Because that is the key question in the whole classified documents case. Here is why Patel's testimony is so important. He was there. He was in the White House. He was close to Trump. If anyone knows what actually happened with those documents, it is him. So whatever he told that grand jury is probably crucial evidence. It could make or break the case against Trump. It could determine whether Trump violated the law or whether he was acting within his authority as president. But Patel will not talk about it. He will not clarify. He will not give straight answers. And that is suspicious. If his testimony backs up Trump's story, if it proves Trump did everything by the book, why not just say that? Why hide behind false claims about sealed testimony? Why refuse to be transparent? The only reason to hide is if the testimony is damaging. If what Patel told the grand jury contradicts Trump's public claims, then yeah, he has got a reason to keep quiet. Because admitting that would blow up Trump's entire defense. It would prove Trump lied. It would give prosecutors everything they need. And here is another thing. If Patel is lying to the Senate about what he told the grand jury, that is another crime. That is lying to Congress. That is what got people like Roger Stone in trouble. You cannot just go before Congress and make stuff up. There are consequences, or at least there used to be. These days, who knows? So that is the first massive issue. What did Patel say, and why will he not talk about it? And more importantly, will anyone hold him accountable for refusing to answer? The second massive issue is the leaked recording. This is potentially the biggest bombshell of all. Because if this tape is real, if it actually captures Trump and Patel discussing how to interfere with FBI investigations, that is a crime. That is obstruction of justice. That is the kind of thing that gets people indicted. Now, we do not have the full tape yet. We are working with clips and secondhand descriptions. But from what has been reported, it sounds bad. It sounds like Trump and Patel were actively plotting to pressure FBI agents, to influence investigations, to make sure certain things never came to light. And if that is true, man, that is explosive. Think about what that means. It means Trump was not just defending himself. He was actively trying to corrupt the investigation. He was using his relationship with Patel to manipulate federal law enforcement. And Patel, the guy who is supposed to be independent, the guy who is supposed to follow the law, he was going along with it. Democrats are calling this one of the most damaging leaks yet from inside Trump's circle. And they are right, because this is not some vague accusation. This is allegedly Trump's own voice on tape. This is evidence. This is the kind of thing that could lead to charges not just for Patel, but for Trump himself. Republicans are trying to downplay it. They are saying the tape is out of context. They are saying it is edited. They are saying this is just another attempt to smear Trump. And maybe there is some truth to that. Maybe the full tape tells a different story. But so far, the explanations from Trump's camp have not been convincing. The other problem with this leaked tape is that it raises questions about who leaked it and why. Was it someone in law enforcement trying to stop Patel's confirmation? Was it a political operative trying to damage Trump? Was it someone who genuinely believes the public has a right to know what is on that tape? We do not know. And until we know, there are going to be conspiracy theories flying around from both sides. But here is the bottom line. If that tape is authentic, if it has not been doctored or edited to misrepresent what was said, then it is a huge problem. It is evidence of potential crimes, and it needs to be investigated thoroughly. The third massive issue is the firing of those 2 FBI agents. And this is where things get really dark, because this looks like retaliation. This looks like Trump using his FBI director to punish people who investigated him. This looks like a purge. The agents who got fired, they worked on Jack Smith's investigation. They were part of the team that looked into Trump's handling of classified documents. They helped execute the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. They were doing their jobs, following the evidence, upholding the law, and for that they got fired. Patel claims this was about accountability. He says the FBI needs to be cleaned up. He says these agents were part of a corrupt system. But come on, the timing gives it away. This happened right before his confirmation hearing. This happened right as questions about his loyalty were heating up. This was a message, and the message is clear. If you go after Trump, if you investigate him, if you do not show loyalty, you are gone. Your career is over. It does not matter if you follow the rules. It does not matter if you were just doing your job. If you cross Trump, you are out. That is terrifying. That is the kind of thing that destroys institutions, because if FBI agents know they will get fired for investigating the president, they will not investigate the president. They will look the other way. They will protect him. And that is how you get corruption. That is how you get a system where the powerful can do whatever they want without consequences. Democrats are calling this a political purge. They are saying Trump is weaponizing the FBI for personal revenge. They are saying this is exactly what they warned about when Trump nominated Patel in the first place. And honestly, it is hard to argue with them. Republicans are defending it. They are saying the FBI has been corrupt for years. They are saying Trump deserves to have people he trusts. They are saying this is about restoring integrity. But that argument falls apart when you look at who got fired and why. These were not corrupt agents. These were agents who investigated Trump. That is the only thing they have in common. And here is what makes it even worse. These firings send a message to everyone else at the FBI. Every agent who is currently working on anything related to Trump, they are watching. They are seeing what happened to their colleagues, and they are thinking, do I want to be next? Is it worth it to pursue this investigation if I am just going to get fired? That kind of fear, that kind of chilling effect, is exactly what Trump wants. Because if FBI agents are too scared to investigate him, then he is effectively above the law. He can do whatever he wants without worrying about consequences. So that is the third massive issue. Is this a legitimate attempt to reform the FBI, or is this revenge? And what does it mean for the future of law enforcement? And here is why all of this matters right now. We are in the middle of Trump's second term. The political fights are intense. The stakes are incredibly high. This whole Kash Patel situation is a test. It is a test of whether the Senate will stand up to Trump. It is a test of whether the FBI can remain independent. It is a test of whether anyone can hold the president accountable. If Patel gets confirmed despite all this, it sends a message. It says loyalty matters more than the law. It says Trump can install whoever he wants, no matter how compromised they are. It says the FBI is just another political tool to be used and abused. If Patel does not get confirmed, that sends a different message. It says there are still limits. It says you cannot just blatantly corrupt law enforcement. It says the Senate will not rubber stamp nominees who are clearly conflicted. So which way does this go? Honestly, right now it is too close to call. Republicans have the votes if they stick together, but some moderate Republicans are getting nervous. They are hearing from constituents. They are seeing the leaked audio. They are watching Patel's terrible testimony, and they are wondering if this is the hill they want to die on. Democrats are unified in opposition. They are demanding the full grand jury transcript. They are calling for investigations into the leaked recording. They are saying this whole thing is a disaster, and they are making it very clear if Patel gets confirmed, they are going to make his life miserable. Every decision he makes, every investigation he opens or closes, it is going to be scrutinized. He is going to be called before Congress constantly. They are going to make him regret ever taking this job. The American people are watching. And honestly, most people are confused. They are hearing different things from different sources. They are trying to figure out who to trust. They are wondering if this is just more political theater or if something genuinely corrupt is happening. And that is where we are. Kash Patel's confirmation hanging in the balance. A leaked recording that could bring down Trump's inner circle. A Senate showdown that is dividing the country. And no clear resolution in sight. The Kash Patel saga is about whether Trump can install loyalists who place his interests above the law, politicizing the FBI and DOJ in ways that could fundamentally change American justice. The Senate's decisions this week will set precedents that echo for years as democracy is tested in real time.